Why, hi. Laura J. here, sitting in front of me computer where I am writing a PowerPoint based on the Ode to Laura Lees, which is the accompanying manual to Fully Committed, the Sacred Sojourn of Now. This is my accent of whichever kind it was sent. It's the axe to cut down that which you know me to be, the familiar sound of my voice. Well, now you hear me a different way and you say, hey, who is that here then, And I say it is me. She would be a third-person pronoun, which is not the truth, except if someone was referring to me as the third party in their story. For that is okay, because it is true. Yet when I do it to myself, then I move myself out of the office of man or woman, which is first person, as I, me, my, ours, us, we. Yes, you see, that is first person, where I am in my own story as the main character. But when I stop being the main character, that is when then I become a third party in my own affair, because suddenly I've invited a second party as an agent to speak for me, when I can speak for myself, thank you very much, and I can even take on a different tone if I need to. But I don't wish to, so I'll just be me, as best as I can be, and when you hear me speak like this, you maybe think, well, okay, well, maybe that's what she always is like. I don't know her that well. Well, you can say that of me, but if I say that of me, then I am becoming the third party in my own story, you see. For you are you, which is a second party in me story. Me has a story, I have a story. You have a story, we have a story. When we come together, we can stay first person in our own story, which is to say our persons don't have to be working against us, disassembled. We just have to know how to trust them to do what they're supposed to do, which is look after us, our equity that the Vatican claimed as the holder of title, which is what a vassal is in a manorial system. That was the precursor to the feudal system when the Roman Republic became an empire, so we could climb higher on the piles of carcasses, which is how trafficking became. How we've been exchanged time and again as something other than what we are, which is third person again. You see, my friend, birds climbing higher, flying into the fire of the phoenix that rises from the depths of inside us, when we're willing to dig deep into who we are and came to be, who seek and be, is how we repurpose become. Isn't that fun, the wordplay, where we see how we've been spelling all day with every word we use and unfurl? Hey, Laura J. Just wanting to say that I saw that Jordan Peterson was voted against because he refused to pay the social media retraining program fee required for those who disagree with the requirements to continue lying to the census in order to have a licensing body offer approval and certification to completely eradicate radical thinking or behavior, as per what CERB became for those who complied with the stay-at-home orders and then began to rely more on virtual or paper versions of reality compared to what is real, which are the relationships we have in real time with one another. So to Jordan Peterson, I just wanted to say that I would encourage you to get the name of every man and woman that was on the board of decision makers who are causing you harm to not be able to continue to practice as you do. Who says you can't too, by the way, is the question. You may not be able to carry the official certification, but who says that you need that if you are not actually practicing according to the box that you would have to check in order to comply with the requirements issued to those statuses under the jurisdiction of the licensing board. There is a lot that we think that we must do in order to comply and have our substance plied to be malleable and fit within the expectations of small boxes, that words with syntax of meaning applied to them, experience within the semantics of the sentence structures and the placement of words and why they're placed that way, to then experience the semiotics of understanding how all of those combinations play together the way that I do my best to explain with the wordplay that I use to break the spells that have been cast upon you who stopped learning how to write in cursive, because the curse I've placed on myself when I don't know better is the negative, doubtful, downcast perspective of what is possible because someone else said it was not, and then I chose to put an I am into the impossible to make I am possible be what I see instead of I'm possible. Impossible? What is that but a word thrown around by small men who are too afraid to try, as said Muhammad Ali. So, with that, I might cry. No, I'll not, but I do want you to know, Jordan Peterson, and anyone who may be in a similar situation, that when you know how to stay in your private capacity with the right to step into the public without changing your status, you have a whole lot of actual rights. It's a video recording type of day while I rock away with the power cord behind, and wanting to say it was 12 years ago today that I went to Orlando. I thought it was West Palm Beach where the actual certification was, though maybe we drove from the airport together, me and a few other JMT members who found each other on the plane because of our excitement and enthusiasm to be going to the same place where leadership, coaching, speaking, and entrepreneurialism were the focus of the event, where we were going to actually change our identity through the self-image that we were going to create by going to be with others to do our 5-minute presentation, on which I spoke on something I am still dealing with 12 years later, ironically. I'll not give it away until we are in a private setting, and then I will say I still have the cue cards that I could read from then, which I wrote, and now I don't because I generally just riffed. But then I was trying to follow the way that the training actually said to do it, and so I did it, and then you'll see it. The version of me 12 years ago that needed help in order to decide to actually not hide the fact that I did the thing that I talked about in there, that I'm going to keep a secret until you buy in to be able to know. Because until you do, you don't really care. Or so it would seem. So, prove it. If you want to support me on Patreon, I'd really appreciate it. ljeh.ca is my website. You can find the Patreon by signing up for emails from me there. And I'm going to start sharing more to Patreon instead of all of the other places, because I believe that to whoever much is given, much is required. And then I also believe that when we do the journey inward, we need support, but not necessarily as publicly. Sometimes we need the content to be able to consume before the day zooms us into a different room on Zoom or wherever it is that we're being called virtually throughout our day. You say that you really want to be the change you seek in this world? Well, then prove it by doing it, by being it. Don't become something, just come, be.